does consumer confidence tie in with the state of the housing market now? I know you've done a lot of research on this. Do you foresee the so-called animal spirits kicking in at any point here soon and helping to create some sort of a positive feedback loop for housing?
Well, you never know about these things, and we've seen some improvements in confidence, but lately, you know, I think people are getting a little bit worried again. This, I guess the presidential election might give them some sense of new hope. They hear these brilliant speeches at the convention. Does that brighten their hopes? Not by a whole lot that I can see. So it's still very iffy, and I think we might be in a period of kind of stagnant confidence for some time.
And that might mean stagnant home prices in turn. Is that what I'm hearing from you?
Right.
Okay. Switching gears slightly, I'd like to get your take on the sentiment and psychology surrounding investing in stocks. Individual investors seem to have lost confidence in the stock market, judging by the massive outflows from equity mutual funds. My question is, how much of this is because of high-frequency trading or computer glitches versus just subpar returns over the past 12 years? You know, is the cult of equity dead, as Bill Gross so famously wrote recently?
Well, I have stock market confidence indexes that you can see on my website, and I haven't noticed any really major change. So I don't think, because mine are based on institutional and individual investors. I think that people still believe in the stock market. You know, it's not. If everyone were pulling out, it would be abnormally low now, and it's not low now at all. But by my price-earnings ratio calculations, it's on the high side. People still are in there. They still believe in stocks, and believe it or not, they still believe in housing. Not as much, but somewhat for the long run.
The financial industry has been vilified for its so-called innovation in the securitization market that led to the financial crisis and the ensuing quote-unquote economic malaise. But in your book, Finance and the Good Society, you argue we should harness financial innovation because it does lead to a better society. How so, Professor?
Well, I think it's kind of one of those invisible things, right? You don't know what society would be like if we didn't have all this financial innovation. We see all sorts of amazing things around us, like your new cell phone or whatever, that are the products of a financially driven economy. That we don't, and it seems to me that we have a tendency to think that charity and philanthropy are the ultimate protector of people. But in fact, you know, it's insurance and risk management, financial risk management, that most people depend on, not gifts and charity. So I think we have to see this financial sector continue and to develop. That was the theme of Finance and the Good Society. And in the wake of Occupy Wall Street, what do people do who are upset about some bad things happening in finance? I think a plausible thing for young people to do is to go into finance and fix it from the inside. I don't see any other effective way to deal with the problems.
Well, what about, you say, financial risk management? That's supposedly what JP Morgan was doing out of their CIO office in London, and it's caused them a lot of losses. You know, it seems like financial engineering, maybe it's because there's been poor oversight, but helps lead to kind of blowing up the financial system. I mean, what about that? I mean, is that innovation? It's kind of destruction of wealth.
Well, when you take risks, calculated risks, you still lose sometime. So the fact that some company lost a lot of money doesn't really malign the whole concept of risk management. But the big issue now is systemic risk. And I think this is something that we didn't quite foresee and understand. The Dodd-Frank Act has created a Financial Stability Oversight Commission and a new Office of Financial Research. And I think we're getting better at understanding risk and how to deal with it. Systemic risk is really an important problem. That's what we just discovered.
Professor Schiller, thank you so much for coming on the program and sharing your insight. You always bring something interesting to the table. I hope to see you soon.
My pleasure.